Alright, welcome everyone. We're diving headfirst into the Champions Trophy today, kicking things off with a huge match, India versus Bangladesh.
Yeah, right off the bat, we've got a big one.
And we're in Dubai for this one. Talk about high stakes, huh? We've got live updates coming in hot, plus all the pre-match analysis you could ask for.
And of course, we've got those expert opinions from the Times of India to help us piece it all together.
That's right, we're your one-stop shop for Champions Trophy insights, folks.
Absolutely. So India comes in as the tournament favorite.
Yeah, that England series was a statement, wasn't it? They just dominated.
Completely. But there's a twist, of course, no Bumrah for India.
Yeah, that injury throws a wrench in things, makes this match even more interesting, don't you think?
Absolutely, it does. And let's not forget Bangladesh. These guys are famous for pulling off upsets.
Especially against the big teams.
Right. Think back to that 2007 World Cup win against India. Could history repeat itself?
Who knows? That's what makes this so exciting. Okay, let's break down the specifics. We're at the Dubai International Stadium. What's the word on the pitch?
Well, from what the curator's saying, it sounds like batting first might be the way to go. But there's that dew factor to consider later on.
Ah, right, the dew, always a wild card in Dubai.
Definitely. And wouldn't you know it, Bangladesh wins the toss and chooses to bat first.
Interesting. Seems like they're playing right into India's potential strengths, if those predictions about the pitch hold true.
We'll see how it plays out. Now, India's gone with a bit of an unusual lineup, haven't they?
Yeah, I was surprised to see both Akshar Patel and Ravindra Jadeja, two specialist spinners.
Yeah, that's a bold move, no doubt. Looks like India's putting a lot of faith in their spin attack.
Makes you wonder, is it a bit too spin heavy? Especially with Bumrah out of the picture.
Possibly. But hey, they're the favorites for a reason. They've got a plan.
Okay, before we dive too deep into tactics, let's hear from the captains themselves. What did Rohit Sharma have to say at the toss?
He kept it short and sweet. There was no looking back. Every game becomes very important in this tournament.
Yeah, you can hear the focus in his voice, can't you? Every game counts.
Absolutely. And on the Bangladesh side, Najmul Hussain Shanto was a bit more, I guess, upbeat. He said, we have to play good cricket today, and the boys are confident.
Confidence is key, right? Especially going up against a powerhouse like India.
For sure. But, sometimes that underdog mentality can really work in a team favor.
True enough. Now, you mentioned spin-heavy attack earlier, and I know some of our listeners might not be familiar with all the cricket lingo. Can you break that down a bit?
Sure thing. Basically, it just means a team is relying mainly on bowlers who specialize in spin bowling.
As opposed to fast bowling, right?
Exactly. Spin bowlers make the ball, well, spin. It comes off the pitch in a way that's harder for the batsman to predict.
So in India's case, having both Akshar and Jadeja in the playing 11, that's basically 11 players on the field at a time. It's a clear sign they're banking on spin.
Absolutely. And it's even more interesting because Bumrah, their best bowler, is actually a fast bowler. So without him, they're really leaning into this spin strategy.
It's a gamble, isn't it? What if the pitch doesn't play like they expect? Or if Bangladesh's batsmen can handle the spin?
It's a risk, no doubt. But high risk, high reward, right?
And Bangladesh does have some experienced players who are known for being good against spin.
They do. This could be a real test for India.
All right, let's go over the starting lineup, shall we? India first, Rohit Sharma is captain, obviously. Then we've got Shubman Gill.
Virat Kohli, back in form and looking dangerous.
Yeah, exciting to see him back at his best.
Then Shreyas Iyer and KL Rahul keeping wickets.
So a strong batting lineup, as we'd expect from India.
Definitely. And then, of course, Hardik Pandya, the all-rounder.
And our spin twins, Akshar and Jadeja. Who else rounds out the attack?
We've got Harjit Rana, Mohammad Shami for some pace, and Kuldeep Yadav, another spin option.
Okay, so very spin heavy like we discussed. Now, what about Bangladesh?
Right, so they've got Tanzi Hassan and Sumi Sarkar opening the batting.
And then Najmul Hussain Shanto, the captain, comes in at number 3.
That's right, followed by Tauhid Frido and the veteran Mushfiqur Rahim keeping wickets. He's a key player for them.
Lots of experience there. Who else is in the lineup?
Mehi Hassan Miraz, another all-rounder, Jakar Ali, Rashad Hussain, Tanzim Hassan Saqib, Taskin Ahmed, and Mustafizur Rahman.
Good mix of youth and experience there.
So both teams have their strengths, definitely, but also some potential weaknesses.
That's what makes this matchup so fascinating, right?
Absolutely. India's batting is scary good, but that reliance on spin could backfire.
And Bangladesh, while maybe not as flashy, they've got a more balanced team, and that element of surprise is always a factor.
The Times of India experts seem to agree. They're saying the pressure is definitely on India with those high expectations and Bumrah missing.
They're not counting Bangladesh out either, especially if their experienced players step up. So here's the big question for all of you listening. What do you think will be the deciding factor in this match? Put on your analyst hats, folks. We've looked at the teams, the conditions, the expert opinions. Now it's your turn to weigh in. What's going to make the difference? Think about it. We'll be back soon to break down the actual match and see how it all played out.
Looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Will India's spin gamble pay off? Can Bangladesh pull off another stunning upset? Stay tuned.
Okay, so we've covered all the pre-match build-up. Now let's get into the actual match. Did it live up to the hype?
Oh, absolutely. It was a real clash of styles. India sticking with their spin like we talked about.
And Bangladesh.
They mixed things up, a bit of cautious batting, then some aggressive shots when they had the chance.
So a real tactical battle.
Yeah, exactly. Bangladesh batted first, remember? After winning the toss. And they started slow, really careful.
I guess they knew India's spinners would be tough to handle early on, especially on that pitch.
Yeah, the openers, Tanzit Hassan and Sumya Sarkar, they were disciplined, didn't take too many risks, just waited for those loose deliveries.
Soaking up the pressure.
Exactly. And that was key for Bangladesh, getting through those early overs, setting a foundation.
Then things got interesting. Mushfiqur Rahim came in. He was the game changer, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. The veteran, he came in at number 4 and just took control, a real captain's innings.
It was something to watch, wasn't it? He knew exactly how to play against the spin.
Textbook stuff, using his feet, coming down the pitch, disrupting the bowlers. And when he needed to, those delicate little shots, finding the gaps.
He seemed to really target Axar Patel, didn't he? Axar was struggling a bit to find his rhythm.
Yeah, Mushfiqur was smart about it. He picked his moments. And that century he scored, that was the backbone of Bangladesh's innings.
They ended up with a respectable total, 275 runs.
And it kind of exposed that potential weakness in India's strategy, right? If a batsman can handle the spin, that whole plan falls apart a bit.
Interesting. So India's bowlers, they got a few early wickets but couldn't keep the momentum going.
Yeah, Kuldeep Yadav and Jadeja, they bowled well, kept things tight, but not enough wickets to really put a stop to Bangladesh.
And Shami, India's only fast bowler.
He did all right, got some good bounce, but they didn't use him much. They were really committed to the spin.
So 276 to win on a pitch that was supposed to get tougher to bat on as the game went on. Did India cruise to victory?
Not exactly. Bangladesh fought hard. Their bowlers came out strong, full of energy.
Mustafiz Rahman was impressive, wasn't he?
Really was swinging the ball, keeping those Indian openers guessing.
And Rohit Sharma, he got off to a decent start, but then...
Yeah, Mustafiz got him with a beauty India in a bit of trouble at 45 for 1 early in the innings.
So the pressure was on, and Virat Kohli back in form and ready to prove a point.
And he delivered. He came in with that look in his eye, like he was on a mission.
Focus?
Yeah, started slow, got his eye in, then boom, those classic Kohli shots started coming out, finding the boundaries, putting the pressure back on Bangladesh.
That partnership with Shreyas Iyer was key, wasn't it?
So important. They worked together, rotated the strike, built that momentum.
And then Kohli, that century. What a statement. He still got it.
No doubt he's a legend for a reason. Handles pressure like no other, builds an innings, then explodes when he needs to world class.
But it wasn't all smooth sailing for India, was it? Bangladesh kept taking wickets.
Yeah, Gill, Rahul, Pandya, they all went down relatively quickly. The tension was building.
40 runs needed, 5 overs left, 5 wickets in hand. Bangladesh were still in it at that point.
Absolutely. They smelled an upset. They bowled really well, made it tough for India to score.
But Kohli, he just stayed calm, didn't he? Jadeja helped him out.
A bit of smart batting, rotating the strike, taking the singles, hitting the odd boundary. Just kept the scoreboard ticking over.
In the end, India won 2 overs to spare, but it wasn't easy.
No, Bangladesh pushed them all the way. They closed a few vulnerabilities in the batting and the strategy.
It really opens up the tournament, doesn't it? Bangladesh shown they're a force to be reckoned with.
Big time. They can compete with anyone. This is going to be an exciting tournament.
Now, let's talk about those standout performers. For Bangladesh, Mushfiqur Rahim was the hero, no question.
That century was incredible. He showed those young Bangladeshi batsmen what's possible, even against the best bowling attacks in the world. Technique, temperament, everything was there.
And for India, well, it has to be Kohli, right? That century was special.
Not just the runs, but how he got them. The pressure he absorbed. He was the leader. He guided India home. He's so valuable to that team.
All right, so we've seen the match, the highs, the lows. Now, what are the big takeaways? What does this result tell us about these two teams?
Well, first off, Bangladesh are no joke. They're young, but they've got the talent and the belief. They can beat anyone on their day.
And for India,
they got the win, but it wasn't perfect. They've got things to work on, that reliance on spin, for example. And they need more consistency from their middle order.
So both teams have some thinking to do.
Absolutely. This match has changed things. It's a wake-up call. It's going to be fascinating to see how they both react in their next matches.
This champion trophy is just getting started, folks. We're in for a wild ride.
Buckle up. It's going to be good.
So as we wrap up our deep dive here, what really sticks out to you from this match?
It's that contrast in how they approached it, India. They were so focused on the spin.
Yeah, almost stubborn, weren't they? Like, this is our strength, we're sticking to it.
Exactly. And Bangladesh just played with, a looseness. They weren't afraid to take risks.
And it worked. They rattled India a few times, that's for sure.
It really makes you wonder, does India need to rethink this whole spin-heavy thing?
Especially after seeing how well Bangladesh handled it. Could be a problem against other teams, too.
It's definitely something to watch. Maybe they need more variety mix and some pace.
Keep the batsmen guessing.
Exactly. This match, it really throws the whole tournament wide open. Every team is going to be looking at this, trying to figure out how to beat India.
Yeah, finding those weaknesses.
Bangladesh showed everyone it's possible.
So there you have it, folks. The Champions Trophy is off to a wild start. Every match matters.
And keep an eye on Bangladesh. They're not just making up the numbers. They're here to win.
And we want to hear what you think. What are your takeaways? Who's going to win it all? Let's keep this conversation going. What happens when Bangladesh faces a team that's all about pace? Do they struggle? Or do they find a way to adapt? Let us know in the comments.